I mean, you could text Eric.
And it's already so
And
I'm not
I'm telling you that food stays up late. You could text him and be like, Eric, I know it's late, but we're going live now because we did the 10 count first. But if he's going to ask you why you
welcome
call.
back, welcome back. I'm Psycho J alongside with me, CJ, who is literally off into the corner. As you see the deuces, it's there. And formerly of PH Jersey, now Dave the Headache. That's on. Yeah.
David Headache.
Dave.
Yeah.
So, for everyone,
You got a problem?
I mean, no.
No.
Huh?
Problem, sir.
I'll take us outside. I'm waiting.
Oh man, we got another damn packed show today. Hope you guys enjoying the weekend. Hope you guys are joining in.
If you're in Eastern Standard, it's morning time.
Yeah, pretty much. It's pretty much Sunday morning in a way. Me and Dave was having a conversation off air, and the conversations began. Ironically, but we were having a discussion about people that are like singing songs, but their facial and full demeanor like changes, and it's mostly the black people that does it. It just takes it a little bit too far. They're taking their singing like just flaunting around in a way, and it's like, yo, dude, can you just sing a song? Like, can you not without this lip movement of
I'm going to object to that. And the reason why I'm going to object to that is because the reason why black people make faces is because they feel in the song that they sing. Period.
That's fine. You can feel the song.
It's like 30% of the time. Half the time, most of the time, they're just doing it just like, oh, it makes me seem like I fucking care about what I'm singing about.
I don't know. I don't believe that.
I believe 1,000%. I mean, we got a lot of theatrical, fucking dramatic in our entertainment.
Look, man, if you're feeling a song, it's one thing. All right, I understand. You feeling it in your song.
How did you
when you sing it, if it jolts me in a way, then okay, then I'll feel the song. But if I feel like you're just putting on a show, then there's a problem.
If you're singing Mary Had a Little Lamb and you going crazy with the facial expressions, fuck off.
Well, let me just say this though. Let me just say this, and now that I'm back in the screen here, hello everyone.
Yeah,
so this with the headphones on. Can I hear?
Yeah, let's waste time with setup.
So let's say this. I'm sorry, but even with Mary Had a Little Lamb, some of those notes are really high and they're hard to sing. So you naturally will make a face.
None of those notes are high. What are you talking about?
No,
not one of those notes. They're like three notes.
When you're singing the song, if you have the most people that sing, let me just say this.
Right.
Most people that sing, that have their musical talent is to sing.
Yeah.
They're going to make it into what they want it to be. So in other words, it's not going to sound exactly like Mary Had a Little Lamb. You get what I'm saying? So it's the same thing as if you ever watched Sister Act 2. Did you hear the note that she hit on that? That wasn't nothing like what you would think Mary Had a Little Lamb. So that's how they express their creativity and also express their range. So it's the same. I'm going to fight on that because
that's fine. We can literally have a draw.
Years and years and years and years.
We can literally have this battle. But what I'm telling you is that if you have the spotlight on you and your whole demeanor is completely changed from what the rehearsal was,
you're acting. You are pretending. That's what's going on. You are pretending to be in a situation that requires so much love and emotion when you're talking about a goddamn lamb being as white as snow. That's it. That's all you do. There's nothing dramatic. There's nothing heartfelt about Mary having a goddamn lamb.
Why wouldn't it be?
Because it's Mary having a fucking lamb. Mary didn't lose the lamb in a fucking car accident. Mary doesn't have cancer. Who cares? The song isn't about the background of Mary or her fucking lamb. It's the fact that she has a lamb and it's white as snow. That's literally the lyrics. That's nothing else about the lyrics is telling us about anything that makes us feel emotional about it.
Say just regular words and it means something completely different.
Plenty.
Right.
Okay.
So in other words, you just
What's
answered that
the
question.
point?
What I'm saying, how do you know
That's
that
not the
Mary Little
point.
Lamb does not have meaning in somebody's face?
I'm not saying, not sitting there saying that it's not felt in the song. What I'm saying is only black people in general do this
So
whole.
soul singers.
they
do it. It's
put-
not just
No, it's not soul singers.
They put
No
fake
way.
shit in a song that does not require any of that shit. Mary had a little lamb, her fleece is white as snow. Okay, so what could possibly what other interpretations can we get from Mary had a little lamb and a fleece white as snow? What else can we fucking get from that shit? Let's go. What else is there? Let's decipher the code. Mary had a little lamb, fleece is white as snow.
But that's about it.
That's about it, ain't it? It don't really go any deeper, does it?
No.
like just nothing else. Like, it's just if you want to put emotion into a song, then make the song feel the way the song represents or whatever. You know what I mean? But if you're singing Mary Little Lamb seriously and you're actually saying the shit and you do all that extra stuff,
So
you look like a
I'm
clown.
gonna give you the meaning behind Mary Had a Little Lamb because I just looked it up.
All right.
So there's no sinister meaning behind it.
No.
It says just that one love and affection and appreciation. It has meaning behind it. The little girl that had the lamb, she loved that lamb so much. It's a deeper thought to it. We might not have any meaning to it for us, but somebody might.
That was a fail.
It says the nursery rhyme, which was
It's not. Here's the thing. We're taking it into the point to where it's literally
It's a true story.
technically.
Mary
Okay,
Had a Little
yes.
Lamb is a true
I'm
story.
sure
Yes,
there's
it's-
plenty of Marys with lambs back in
But
Scotland.
the reason why the nursery rhyme came about was it's a true story. Y'all just can't admit to right now that y'all.
No.
Admit, there's nothing to admit. There's
The nursery rhyme, which was first published in 1830,
You gotta make a
is
point to
based on
admit
an
it.
actual incident involving Mary Elizabeth Sawyer, a woman born in 1806 on a farm in Sterling, Massachusetts.
This is boring. I'll be honest with you. This is boring podcasting right now.
I mean,
We're talking about Mary.
I'm not.
the backstory.
Look, all I'm sitting there saying.
so the ones
is-
that if they change from the actual practice to the actual show, it's because in the practice they're filling it out and trying to fill out where they are.
I
at.
completely. No, you're taking it
In
literal.
the show, you're actually performing the
No,
thing.
no.
Everything
You're
is
taking it
performing.
literal.
They're performing.
You're taking this literal. The fact is.
it's supposed to take.
Hold on.
If I go in there and tell you
Wow,
that everybody that
Jesus
has
Christ.
if I go in there
Can
and
he
tell
talk?
you
Jesus.
that every drummer in this world
Oh my
Again,
God.
makes crazy faces when they hit the freaking snare or whatever. The hell, like this. That's just the same thing as a singer. What happened is Courtney wasn't sitting here in 10 count, so Courtney wasn't going to combat it. I'm the only
didn't
one
say
that
that,
was been Courtney, CJ, Oliver, running on my name already.
No, they didn't.
But yes, they do.
Okay.
But again, if you want me to be more on
Look,
the name, so CJ. If CJ was
Can I-
sitting
can
here,
I-
that's
can I
not-
at least
that's not
explain?
what
Can I at
happened
least-
because I'm a singer.
Can I at least explain? Okay, so you're sitting there saying that you're a singer, right? That's fine. You have emotions just like a drummer. Yes, that's right. But not to the point to where your emotions are to the face of where it's kind of sort of cartoonish in a way that it doesn't seem like you're
I
really
can
taking
probably
this.
pull up like 10 drummers that do that.
Oh, I can
So,
completely,
I
I
mean-
can too, but it's not to sit here and say, but I can also pull up 10 other singers that you can tell ain't really being emotional about it. They're really just showing off.
They're just singing the song.
I'm not like I didn't say
No,
that.
and not even
But-
singing a song. They're
I didn't
they're
say-
even trying to put their own style into the damn song,
Right.
which really makes any other sense other than that.
But I'm telling you that the way it was coming off, I had to make sure you know that it's not. You might find a few, but they're not. All of them are like, so you have to make sure we pinpoint that. So again, when singers make faces or reactions to their songs, they're performing a song, just like a drummer will be performing
Again.
their musical talent. You understand?
There's ways of other performing besides doing
You know what else?
what you're doing.
You know what else is?
That's
performing?
gonna
What faces y'all? I mean, you almost gotta tell me. Like, what faces are you making?
You know what performing is also. There's other crafts in performance. You can't think of anything else that might.
As I said,
There's acting, right? So there's pretending, and the point of the matter is, if you're singing a song and you're pretending like you're singing about something the fuck else, that's exactly what you're doing. You're no longer singing the song for the song's sake. You're doing this grandstand thing that of like, hey, look at me, shit, and that's fine for a performer who's performing something, but to pretend that you're doing it in some significant, deeper reason when it's really shallowness of, hey, look at me because this is my job, then that's fucking ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Black people in general who aren't professional musicians do that shit all the fucking time. They sing and they try to be like, oh my god, it's like you ever see a child sing the blues? And you don't know shit about the fucking like 9 times out of 10 when a child is doing all these runs at the blues, they don't know what it's like to get thrown out of the house because the woman found another man. I mean, like the boy don't know shit about that, but he's a good singer. You know what I'm saying? He's singing all these notes with no actual connection to the actual song. You know what I mean? So that's the point. We do
But
this
you telling me
grandstand
that
shit all the fucking time. That's the point.
So you're telling me that it's not possible to have that
Didn't say
necessarily
that,
have
but okay.
no connections
Didn't say that. All right.
to the song
Nope. Didn't say
because
that.
of the way it sounded. I mean, that's
Didn't say
I'm
that.
trying. I'm not saying you did.
You
I'm
kind of did
asking-
though, but okay.
I'm asking you a question, but I didn't get to finish it. So
All right.
are you saying that you cannot connect emotions to the fact that to yourself
No.
in
Didn't say
singing it?
that. Okay. No. Didn't say that. Got it.
Okay. So I'm trying to get an understanding of where you're at.
There it is. All right. Here we
That's
go.
not
Here we go.
the absence of like pushing off. Like I really was generally asking you a question, and you literally just like said, "All right, fuck you," and move on.
Because honestly, if I'm gonna be honest about it, it seemed like a really over presumptuous question. It seems really
It's a
sinister.
question. It's a general.
Well, I mean, but
It's just
you
like me looking at you
you
saying
can
that the
take
whole
how
subject itself
how I
is
said and the way
Sounds
you
wrong,
want it,
right?
the way you want to. You can perceive it your way, and I can take what you say and perceive it a certain way too. So let's just move the fuck on. Let's move to it. No, you're actually perceiving it. So let's move the
So
fuck
did
on.
I ask the question, or
I'm
was
just not gonna move on now. Okay.
was I asking the question, or was I saying that this is what you're saying? Did I ask? So were you saying?
I thought you asked the question,
Because I did.
but on the same side too, it sounded.
It's not working.
As,
Let's move on.
all right. So, other thing is pretty much school issue. The crazy thing about that one was that we have bus issues. Can't find any bus drivers. So guess what? We don't have school for the next 2 days.
3.
Well, 3 now.
Probably won't for another week.
Now because we get a text message Saturday morning saying that there won't be school on Monday. And I'm just like, well, you might as well sit there and say we won't have school up until Wednesday.
I
At
think
this point,
Polio said he had a message out, and he said something. One of my coworkers heard it. I didn't watch it because he had like 3 or 4 of them that he made on the YouTube, the JCPS YouTube.
Hey,
channel.
Lori, how's it going?
And Lori popped in. What's up,
Yeah.
Lori?
She's right there.
But yeah, so the JCPS website, their YouTube channel or whatever, said something about they had already pretty much called that 3 days they're not coming back for the half the week, I guess.
Yeah, you found us. Yeah, you sure did.
Hey,
But yeah, and then I keep getting reflective reports of how many bus drivers either quit or just walked out on their job.
that's why
I
the
can't.
kids didn't get
It's a
home
matter
until
of
10
time.
o'clock.
That was
That's
just a
why-
matter of time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
kids
I
got
mean,
home
yeah,
at
it
10
was.
o'clock. 10 o'clock at night. And so those bus drivers, I don't know if they, in some sense, I don't know if they quit or they got fired because a baby getting dropped off at 10 o'clock. But then Polio was saying that he doesn't blame the bus drivers because it was just really the failure to really preferring it out is what he pretty much said. He
I don't-
blames himself.
Polio ain't gonna probably be here next year. I can tell you right now because I saw him on one of the press conferences and he was fed up. He's completely fed up. You see in his face. I think he even alluded to say that he might not even do it next year. And I mean honestly, if anybody that with some sense can feel him because I mean we've been talking about this shit for years. Yo, the fact is, the reason why we're in the situation that we're in now is because we have so many students that are so are allowed to behave in such a way that it's impossible for bus drivers to feel comfortable going into work. That's the basis of where all this came from. Yo, it ain't got shit to do with COVID, ain't got shit to do with none of that stuff. It's the fact is that it's not worth the job anymore. And especially
COVID probably helped it.
especially when
COVID probably helped it because they
It probably helped
tried
it,
the bus.
but this is going on a long time though. We've been struggling for trying to get bus drivers for years. I mean, they're literally Goodwill started a program just to get people certified in Class B so that we might have enough.
I completely
drivers.
remember that
The
one.
Nia Center, I think, had something like that too.
Not anymore.
They quit the program.
Yeah, Nia Center anymore when it comes to any of that anymore. I actually went up there and they basically they're not even functioning anymore other than like for like insurance or something like that. They're trying to get people insurance or something.
Dang, they even stopped their small business.
Yeah.
That's
They
crazy.
discontinued that completely. They if you go in there for small business stuff, they have a paper that says that we don't do it no more. You have to call this number. When you call the number, no one answers. So yeah, that's Louisville now. So yeah, we don't
I mean,
do
it
that
makes
anymore.
sense though because I recall you saying that like Louisville really doesn't own itself.
No.
So I can see why they wouldn't want people that live within Louisville to go and just start in business.
Exactly.
I get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it's a big Louisville's a big shit sandwich, and when you look at fucking like the kid situation and everything, like me and my parents used to talk about it all the fucking time, like because like me, like I would have no problem getting my Class B and driving, but look at the risk. You know, I think the school system said the JCPS said at one time a few years ago that they won't even allow bus monitors on the bus. So you're the only adult on a bus full of kids you have no authority over.
No.
And these kids, doing what kids do and doing what kids do even more now, more so now because there is no home training anymore.
Not even that now. It's like, now you can't even really search the kid if they have any weapons or anything. So
You can't do shit with them.
So at least you open up the door and don't tell them what the hell that kid has.
You're not safe.
No.
You're not safe. And then you wonder why, well, our bus situation just out of nowhere went crazy. Yeah, because and you know what Teamsters said? Because Polio was saying his thing, but Teamsters came out and said that the biggest reason why it didn't work was because the routes were too long. So why are routes too long? Don't have enough drivers. You got enough buses, not enough drivers. That's why the routes are so long. Why is route so long? Why don't we have enough drivers? Because nobody wants to be a bus driver. Why does nobody want to be a bus driver? And full circle. All right, you know what I mean. So it's just
Yeah.
it is what it is.
And then the funny thing is then not only on top of that, but then you tried to do something with UPS with the logistics of the bus route.
And Marty said, "Hell no." Marty said, "Hell no." He said, "I'm not getting y'all involved too. Fuck this shit." I can do lawsuits for days.
It makes zero sense. It's like,
It's dumb. Hey, but you know what? I'll be honest with you. I don't got no kids, so honestly, I don't think I can get too much shit right now.
but I mean, it's, I mean, again, if he wasn't a more like fluid plan or something that made more
They should have
sense.
left the shit alone from last year.
Yes, they should have. They should
That's
have
just
left
what
it
I
alone.
mean.
They couldn't.
Because but no, they could have. I mean, because they were still running. It was still running shitty
Well,
as
because
it was. But I mean, like the fact is that the way they did it. Not only did the reason they changed the bus schedules. Excuse me, they changed the times of the schools because of the lack of bus drivers, right?
yeah,
But why change the times when all it did was stretch out the misery of the bus drivers?
because
Like
because they had
it didn't make no sense.
because they had to do something. But if they did nothing, it would have been, it would probably been the exact same situation. But they had to look like they would make some type of change toward the better. But the fact is, either way, you didn't have enough drivers. Either way, it wouldn't have worked from last year, because the reason why they made changes is because they knew it wasn't going to work because they didn't have enough drivers. Okay, well then that means that we got to put more on the drivers that we do have, even though that's going to make them quit, which is exactly what happened. You know what I mean? So there was literally nothing they can do. The problem is, it's still the same. These kids are fucking bad.
So why don't they do like so there's many other systems that they could have emulated when it came to that. I could say Grand Rapids for one. I didn't go to high school in Grand Rapids, but all the high school students rode city buses, which are already in play.
Right.
See, that was another. See, that was
And
another
that's
thing.
something that they could have necessarily turned to.
Get talking about.
What?
I mean, it's not necessarily
Hold
get
on.
them involved, but yeah, it's kind of that would
Yeah.
make more sense.
But
than
if you
them trying to
remember-
stress out the ones that they have.
But if you recall, when we were going to Atherton,
Yeah.
TARP was.
Yeah.
They did have something on their.
So I wonder if JCBS fucked up that relationship.
Well, Tark fucked that up because Tark don't have a lot of drivers neither. Our public transportation system has been going down.
I don't doubt it
for a while
because it's
now.
not safe on the damn turkey either.
Yeah,
So,
that's
I
anyway.
mean,
Because people are crazy. Kids
It's
are
not
crazy,
safe.
and most of it's kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of it's kids. I had a big old, I'm gonna talk about it on my segment. I'm not gonna get into it heavy, but I had a conversation with a coworker of mine about this same subject, and we got to it. And me and him real cool, but it got a little heated. But that's it. I'll go into that later.
Well, once we get into that segment, want to tell y'all guys if y'all guys want to, you guys can hit up to the subscription button on our page. Subscribe to us. You'll get every single weekend us talking a lot of the other stuff that's been going around the world. Like I said, hit the subscription button. Follow the Government Cheese Party as we do as well. Next up, this segment will be Off the Rails with, well, I can't even say PH Drizzy anymore. Jesus Christ.
We'll do off the road of PH Drizzy, like that'd be my own segment.
See,
Its own segment, and that's like a different character I go into. Nah, fuck it. Let's just go there.
Yeah, let's
Off the rails with the headache.
see. I'm so used to sitting there saying PH Drizzy that it just flowed out of my mouth like normally.
All right,
But now it's just like, nope, that's not it no more. It's like,
practice it.
oh shit.
Practice.
Yeah, practice makes better. All right, well, whatever. It's Off the Rails with Dave the Headache.
Dave the headache. I think PH Drizzy kind of did have a better ring to it.
It did. It did.
Yeah, fuck it.
Golly.
It'll work out.
So, this is your segment.
Are we on?
Yeah.
You didn't even say shit.
I did.
You know what?
We
Here's
don't
my
go
first
off.
problem.
We don't go off at all, so like it's just rolling.
No,
while
it's just
you're live.
rolling. It's a live stream.
Okay. All right. Well, so I had a conversation with a guy at work, and that's usually where how that shit works. Uh, so it was like on, of course, on the last on what we were just talking about, talking about the bus situation, and the craziness of how it's not beneficial to be a bus driver in Louisville. Um, and my my one major issue that obviously that I have is the behavior and the allowances that our society has allowed kids to to live under. You know, and of course the behavior of the kids themselves. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I'm one of them guys that had a very old school type of upbringing, uh, old school traditional, whatever you call it, maybe southern. I don't know what you call it, but definitely in our house there was a certain amount of corporal type of punishment, if that's what you want to call it. We there was always the realization that there can also be physical consequences to the decisions that you make as a child. And I know we live in this day and time where nobody wants to hear that shit. Nobody wants to entertain it, I guess, or whatever. But I think there's I'll say a large group of individuals who absolutely give credit to that sort of parenting, to keep those individuals either on the right track, or put them on the right track, or actually save their life. You know, I definitely say I'm one of them, because you know I've had anger issues as a child. I've had behavioral things that had to be uh, accounted for, or had to be worked on, and things like that. But one thing that I never did, I never uh, I never disrespected my parents. I was never given the option to disrespect my parents. And whenever my parents told me that I need to respect someone, or respect an adult, I knew that if I didn't, that I would have to answer to them, regardless of who the adult was. If someone put me under the authority of, if my parents put me under authority of another adult, then I had no other choice but to respect them, plain and simple. And I see a lot of people who talk about, oh well, I got beat as a child, and I'm like, and all this stuff, and then and then, look, if you had a real horrible abusive childhood like that, then I'm not discounting that. I understand it. I've seen, I know the difference. But if you telling people you got beat and all that stuff by your parents, and all that, and really all you did is maybe have maybe one or two spankings in your whole, or maybe just one incident where you may have got spanked or checked or something like that, and I don't respect that. Don't respect it. Not even a little bit. You know what I mean? Because the fact is, my whole family, especially on my mother's side, uh, many of them, majority of them are professionals, and they're good. They're great people. They're well respected, and the communities that they live in. Not many of them don't live in Louisville anymore, but they're well respected. They all show and speak very highly of my grandparents and their parents. They speak highly of of their parents, and the way they were raised. So obviously there's a way to make these things work. Now, I believe any good parent that practices corporal punishment understands that that's not the first place you go. It's absolutely the last resort. That's the way it was always explained to me, and that's the way it was always done to me. It was, and matter of fact, when I like the conversation that I had with my buddy, he was going on about, oh well, I got hit when I was a kid. I received corporal punishment. I was told to shut the fuck up and all this stuff and all that. And I said, okay, well, if that's your experience. That's your experience. I don't discount it. But what about mine? Because my parents never told me to shut the fuck up. Never cursed at me. As a matter of fact, I never got hit in the chest. I never got closed hand punched. I never got slapped in the face. I got spanked. And it happened at a very early age to where at a time, I don't remember not respecting my mother. Having that fear that eventually turned into respect. I don't fear my mother to this day. I don't fear my father. I love him. I want to take care of him. I want them to have the best because now that I can look back at stuff, I absolutely know that if I didn't have that influence in that house, I'd be either be in prison or dead, without a doubt. With my tendencies and the way my mind goes, there's plenty of situations that I look back on now where I look back and I say, yeah, the only reason why I didn't, fight that guy, the only reason why I didn't mouth off to that person, the only reason why I didn't let my temper get the best of me, because I might get in trouble with mom. Straight up. That was always in the back of my mind. I know I can't fight my mom. I know, and my dad never put a hand on me, But it worked out because it made me respect a boundary that I didn't realize at the time that I needed to adhere to as a child. I was definitely a kid that needed that type of reinforcement, positive or negative. Now, here's the shocker. I can count. I don't even need one full hand to count how many times I got spanked. I didn't get hit every day. Yeah. I may have done some things that required disciplinary action, but I didn't get hit. It only takes it happened at crucial points where you know it could go there. As a kid, you don't need spankings every day. And anybody who is spanking their kids every day, you're fucking up. But this used to be an understanding amongst everybody. It was a common thing, right? Like, there's a certain line that you don't cross. There's a certain line you don't allow your kid to cross. I mean, there's a way of doing things that was very common at a time where we didn't have the issues that we have today, such as kids going crazy and making it hard for adults to live in the communities that they are responsible for. Now, you can argue left or right. His argument with me, the guy at work, was that you can't say that it's not wrong because there's examples of it having what's the word? It had bad effects on certain individuals. I said, okay, well, here's the problem. I'm not saying that it's absolutely right and that you do it all the time. I'm saying that it's something that you use, and it's a tool that you can use to discipline your child, the same as all the other tools that you have. My parents talked to me. They talked to me every day. Anytime something was wrong, anytime something was right, they talked to me. They talked to me when I was doing something wrong. They let me know you're doing something wrong. They talk to me when I did something wrong. They talk to me before they disciplined me. They gave me a warning, and then they talk to me when before the actual disciplinary action happened. We're talking about spanking or whatever. They talk to me before, they talk to me during, and they talk to me afterwards. I never had to guess or wonder why I was getting a spanking. There was always a lesson every single time. There was always a message every single time. And I know plenty of individuals, both my peers and my elders, who has the same experience. Those things work because some kids need that extra. Because some kids will keep trying you and keep trying you and keep playing games and playing games, and sometimes they only respond to a physical boundary, a physical punishment. That don't mean you beat them or nothing like that. It means you let them know that this can happen, right? So he accused me of talking absolutes. When I'm saying it, I'm trying to fight an absolute. What I'm saying is you can't say that, hitting your child or spanking your child is automatically wrong. You should never put your hands on a child. That's stupid. It's absolutely stupid. There's certain situations where it's necessary. To me, that comes from the same bullshit, that comes from this file cabinet I have in my mind where I put just stuff that I feel is just bullshit. And that gives me the same energy of people who say there's absolutely no reason to hit a woman. The fuck are you talking about? If there's a reason to hit a person, then there's a reason to hit a woman. Okay? It's that simple. If there's a reason to hit a person, there's a reason to hit a woman. That doesn't mean that you go around hitting women because you feel like it. That's not the reason. If your life's in danger, I don't care what she got going on in her pants. I don't care what that person has going on. I don't care what they identify as. If your life is in danger and you can save your own life by knocking that motherfucker out, then do that shit. All right? If your property is in danger and your livelihood is in danger, there's reasons to get physical with people sometimes. And anybody wants to pretend like they don't understand that. I don't know. I don't know what to say to you. There's obviously reasons for everything. Nobody is this benevolent creature. We're all human beings. So there's a middle ground for every fucking thing. So again, my main point comes down to that. Is that we're all human. There's no room for absolutes and situations like that. You got to be able to find the balance in everything. Otherwise, you're going to end up having problems that you're not prepared to fix because you don't even think that it actually happened. Because in your mind, as long as we're not doing this one thing, everything else will just work out. That ain't how nature works. Even if you look at nature itself. The fear of death, the consequence of pain. These things are what guides people or creatures or whatever. If you're doing something wrong, how do you know you're doing something wrong? When it hurts. That's how you know. That's an extremely basic thing. How do you know you're doing something wrong? When it does something to you, or the effect that it has on you is not advantageous. That's how you know you're doing something wrong. So even in nature, there's physical consequences along with social, emotional, and all those other things. But I would never say that all kids need to be hit. I never say that that's what needs to happen all the time. When I am saying that if you take away something that a parent could use to save their child, because that's basically what a lot of individuals feel like is happening. especially when we're talking about all these shootings and stuff like that. If you take away something that a parent could use to save their child, that makes you the enemy, it makes you the ignorant one, and you're absolutely wrong. Now, if you want to regulate things, if you want to try to try to come up with a system and try to put lines where they need to be, hey, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't hit in the face, you can't, you know what I'm saying? Like if you want to do all that, okay, I'm all cool with that. Let's figure that shit out. But if you want to pretend like you know you don't have a choice as a parent to do what's necessary to keep your kid in line, well, these are the problems. These are the problems. I believe that turns into. You got more adults who's not willing to deal with kids because the risks are too high. You know, the risks are too damn high. Home training, where is it at? And I don't have a kid. No, I don't have children, all that stuff. I'm only speaking from experience of having parents that raised a kid who absolutely could have been swept up so easily into the games of the streets and all that bullshit. Who grew up to be a man without a criminal record, who has stayed working, who stands on his own too, and doesn't have any of the problems that a stereotypical black man has. So that's the achievement for my parents. Now I still gotta get my shit together for me, but my parents did their job. I'm 33 years old. Not a lot of black men can say that, especially coming from where I come from. Not a lot of black men can say that. A lot of my friends can't say that. A lot of them, a good chunk of them can't say that shit. And I know some about their households, and I know a lot of them. I don't want to be too. I don't want to be too hard, but I'll go ahead and say 99% of them did not have the type of influence that I had, especially not. I would say a good 90% of them didn't even have a father in their life. I had both my parents. You know, so my parents did their job, and one of the things that they used was corporal type of punishment, physical punishment. I know for a fact it works, and if you really think that you want to help children and you want to help society and all that stuff, you need to think a little bit deeper about that and stop saying, okay, well, if this hurt one kid or this hurt one person, let's do a blanket sweep and pretend like that's going to fix everything, because it never does. So that's all I gotta say about that shit. I don't know nobody arguing with yet. I was waiting, but you know, that's how I feel about it. I'm 10 toes on it. And I absolutely do invite any type of debate or not argument, but any type of debate, any type of you know whatever, you know what I mean? I'm okay with talking about it because, you know, it is what it is. I don't think so, but all right.
I don't think so, but all right. Man, that was another good one. For sure. I mean, I don't want to debate about that because honestly, I think for all of us, I think it's in full agreement, especially when we're talking about JCPS and pretty much their constant things of bus issues and trying to get kids from home and to school and stuff like that. It's been a complete and utter chaos since then. So honestly, there's no
ain't no fixing it now.
Yeah, ain't no
fixing it now.
And everything when it comes to like, I mean, like it's not just, I say childlike people raising kids.
Yeah.
So that's what it really boils down to for me. I feel like there's a lot of, even though you might be of age or older or whatever, you still have childlike tendencies.
Yeah.
And when you have kids, it's, I mean, it's legit. It's time to grow up. You cannot continue to be in that childlike body, and you're raising a whole child that needs to be learning and growing and maturing.
I think the only way for that to change is for society to reinforce that. I mean, we literally live in a society that does not that that doesn't talk down, or I don't say talk down, but doesn't put shame
Yeah.
on certain actions that we should. You know what I mean? Like if you I hate to be that guy, but if you think it's okay to go around screwing around and doing all this stuff, and then have a kid, and then using that kid for money, for government assistance, for all, if you think that that's okay, you're part of the problem as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I don't respect a baby mama. I don't respect a chick with a kid. I respect mothers. You know what I mean? I respect straight up mothers who do everything and anything they can, in disregard of themselves, for their child. That's that's what I respect.
Yeah.
And if that ain't you, I don't care what society says. You shouldn't be proud of yourself. I'm not cool with you.
For everyone that's popping on and joining us, let me give you the pretty much the backstory between these these segments that I give um, Dave the Headache and CJ. It's to pretty much give them a voice of what's on their mind, and it's give them an opportunity to voice their creativity, to voice their opinions and other things that kind of makes them tick. So when people come up and ask me, "Hey, what are these segments? What are these segments about? What are they based on?" They're not based on anything but their creativity, their own spotlight, and their own separate ways, and how they voice and opinionate their opinions on this show. So when I take when I look at how I should be able to create a better way for our people and for our listeners, it is to give them the platform to voice their opinions. Just like Aaron has his own platform to where we give him the platform for his opinions, his light skin news. Granted that sometimes he is on light skin time, he, we still give him
And he has,
that same
he has
opportunity,
light skin tendencies.
that too, which sometimes appears in his segments. But again, that's neither here or now. But I have always been the one to give other people the platform and their creativity under the government cheese party umbrella, for their creativity and for their voice to be heard in whatever makes them tick,
Hey,
or
buddy,
whatever else
real
that makes
quick,
them happy.
real quick.
Yeah,
Thesaurus.
the source.
Yeah, thesaurus. Find another word for creativity.
Find another way of
I
creativity.
think, I think you said it like 12 times.
Well,
Nah, I'm
it's
just fucking with
it's it's a it's another thing that I've always wanted to do with a podcast, was to give people that type of
the platform.
yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna look up some words for you.
on your
I'm
thesaurus.
I'm gonna text them to you, and I want you to look through them. But yeah, I mean, if I get you, I mean, you let people express themselves in a way where they don't have to feel like they have to sugarcoat certain things, all that stuff. Just kind of give them like a free space there for everybody.
You know me, I've never been the one that, hey,
Right.
somebody,
Censor and all that stuff.
yeah, it's
And
like,
you know me, I'm not gonna do it either way.
So I've always been the one that loves the. Again, I know you're going to say the word, but again, but I've always loved the creativities of everybody else, and to pretty much do so. But I'm glad and happy that I'm able to give everybody that platform. The next person that you will hear is none other than the great TikToker herself, the master of the Find It Facts. I'm trying to filibuster here. I know you're sitting there reading. I'm sitting there like filibustering. Wow, you got it? Okay. So you will hear none other than the person to my left. It is what is on CJ's mind.
What's up, y'all? There was a couple things that necessarily that were on my mind. Um, but as I go through um, this website and kind of looking at stuff that are trending right now and the stuff that's going on in the world right now, the only thing that really, I guess, pulls me in when it comes to what would be on my mind, something that I would discuss, is something about the Maui fires. How, that these fires have been devastating, what I'm saying, to these people.
Is it different than the Canada fires, or?
Yeah, this is in Hawaii.
Okay.
And the residents had to leave homes. I mean, it destroyed a historic area in Hawaii.
Wow.
It brings me to the fact that this world, although we are in bad times, really everywhere. I mean, Texas has been in a heat wave. There's a lot of stuff. One of the things that I say that is going on, it's just like it's so much stuff going on. People we need to wake up, y'all.
That's a good question, Lori.
What you think?
Are there from volcanoes?
So let's see if I can read.
Oh, there is
the
any
passage.
active volcanoes in
Yeah, not in Hawaii anymore. I want to say they're all
global warming.
I mean, that's I think what it all boils down to. So it says devastating wildfire engulfs historic Lahaina town in Maui, Hawaii. Residents to flee into the harbor waters. It says a nightmare scene on Tuesday as Lahaina town, a historic area in Hawaii, faced an overwhelming blaze that forced residents to seek refuge in the harbor waters to escape the advancing flames. The massive brush fire, fueled by powerful winds, tore through much of the cherished community, laying waste to numerous homes, businesses, and calamity is regarded as one of the most severe natural disasters in Hawaii since the hurricane.
That's tough, man. Because if like I know like how certain wildfires happens, but when it becomes as simple as the gust of wind and it's already dry, like super dry to the point to where anything can just you don't even have to do much. It just boom, it's already started.
Right. Yeah.
That's how you know that it's getting bad, because there's no rain, there's no nothing. It's literally dry and air.
Yeah, so they go through, and I mean, really, the biggest thing is like I said, that's it's devastating seeing stuff like that, But at the end of the day, I feel like a lot of this, I all I can say is really like people like we need to wake up and we need to get in our Bibles for real. I mean, because everything that's being said right now is he said he will never take us back out with floods. But let me just tell you, when I say the signs of fire is all over the place, I can't even explain. I can't express them. Like I'm just, it's so weird, and I just like that was a thing that kind of just popped up in my head, and it's I mean, okay, wait, I don't find it weird because this world is turning into the world that it was when he did flood it.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like all the stuff they've taken God out of the schools.
The
And that's what-
sodomizers.
right? I mean, it's been ridiculously. People are being persuaded to do things that they wouldn't normally do. It's you have more negativity in the world than you have positivity. You know what I'm saying? And it's in some sense you can't blame the ones that are negative because negative gets you attention.
Yeah.
You know, it's so hard in this world. So that's kind of what's been on my mind. That's one of the things that I've been pushing on TikTok. You know what I'm saying? I think because I can scroll through TikTok on a random day and all I see is negativity. People going at each other for no reason. I see people invalidating other people's feelings for what? For what? What
For
is
what?
the point? What is the point in invalidating? What kind of joy or payment do you get out of invalidating somebody's feelings?
Well, I think a lot of that comes from too is that the oversensitivity of people, because a lot of times when you got people who have an opinion that differs from someone else, they some people will call that, well, you're invalidating my experience, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Right, it's the
You
lack
know.
of knowing the actual definition of the term. So
Or just intent, you know what I mean? Because that's part that bothers me is like, what about the intent? I mean, if somebody is speaking on something and they give their 2 cents on it, and then you automatically say, okay, but what about me and the way I feel, and you didn't even question how I might feel? Like it's like but that's not what my perspective is. So you can't
Right.
you can't automatically say I'm attacking you.
right, but when it comes to a subject, so like say for instance, like last night, we were talking about I was in a panel last night and we were talking about relationships, right? And we had an equal share of women and men in that room.
Yeah.
And we're all over
Are y'all talking about y'all?
18. No. I was on the panel. I think you might have been asleep or something. But so I was on.
Might have been.
I was on a panel with a couple of my fellow friends on TikTok, and Lori was one of them.
Lord said, I'm starting to see more positivity on TT.
Yeah,
And CJ is one of those.
yeah,
And then Brian.
yeah. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
I know. I'm probably asleep. I probably done passed out. I know you're saying right to that. So yes.
So like we were on there, and this whole time, some of the questions were extremely challenging, and like questions that would typically put men and women against each other. So some, I know it's my list.
I get it.
You know what I'm saying? I can't help it.
I was
But,
trying to
so,
help. I was trying to.
It's like it says speech impediment now, so I
trying to
can't
dive
control
in
it.
there.
But okay, so when those questions were posed, instead of us going at each other, we were actually listening to each other and talking to each other and having a conversation with each other,
That's
even
right.
if we did not agree on everything. It was more so, hey, okay, I'm going to validate what you said, you're going to validate what I say, and then we're going to meet somewhere in the middle to try to understand what each other's saying. And that's how a conversation happens, regardless on if you agree with a person or not, right? So it's about being mature enough to be able to handle somebody disagreeing with you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And if it's okay for you to disagree, but can you disagree in a point where you're not devaluing that other person? like that's another thing, because it's not just that one side of that person not being able to take somebody disagreeing with them. It's also on the person's side that keeps on pushing.
It's on both sides.
Yeah, it's on both
It definitely is
sides.
both sides. But and I think it all comes from the balance of whether or not the intention is mutual. Because you can try to validate someone's feelings or whatever their story or whatever their perspective is.
Right.
But if they push it in a way where you have to accept it and you have to agree with it for the conversation to go further, then that's just either a waste of time or it's an invitation to argument.
Well, okay, so you're right. So it's not a force of an agreement, but it's also you got to look at every aspect of that person. So if this person on a normal basis forms things a certain way, right, and it might look like it's a push, but that's just their personality.
Right.
So, but and the same thing, like I said, it's all in when you have a conversation with a person and you're trying to figure out what the conversation is, where it's going, and all that other stuff. You have to take into account that person and who they are.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And so, like you have to take into account all of it across the board, which is why when you're having conversations with people all over the world when it comes to TikTok, you have to understand that culture comes into play.
Right.
It's so many different things that come into play, and people are so when they say validation, it doesn't always mean my feelings.
Right. It shouldn't mean your
It's
feelings.
right. It should. It
Not-
doesn't.
as a matter of
And
fact.
some of it does have to
It's
do
more-
with feelings, though, because when you look at a person that may have been traumatized by a situation,
Right.
their feelings are going to come into play whether they want them to or not.
But I agree with that. I mean, maybe up until a certain point, because for sure, as adults, because we're talking about maturity too.
Right.
As adults, your feelings are your responsibility.
Yes.
You can't blame someone else about how you feel. I mean, that's obviously when you're an adult, the way you feel about things is on you. Now your perspective is that's two different things. Your perspective is how you see things and how you react to things, how you respond to things and things like that. But you can disconnect your emotions from your perspective.
Right.
And
Yeah. Well, you should, as a mature
as an
adult,
adult,
you should, right. As an adult, you should be able to. But when that trauma is never healed as a child coming into adulthood,
right.
Some of those same behaviors are going to take play when you become an adult.
Right.
So your emotions and your perspective is going to collide with each other, and you can be a mature adult all the way up until that situation arises.
You're just talking about church.
Yeah. So until that situation arises, and when that situation arises, you automatically flash back to where you were at.
Yeah. So Lori was sitting there saying we were all listening to one another and trying to see their thoughts and material or questions matter.
Yeah. Right.
So yeah.
Right. I mean, just that's what it's all about. I think that last night was a proven fact that it can be done. It's a proven fact that it can be done.
I think. Well, I don't want to say most people, but I think a lot of people understand that. And what's frustrating is that when they try to take that type of energy, that type of that type of way of communicating to the rest of their world, it's not met with the same energy, and then it just becomes this frustrating thing. It's like, well, I like how I felt about when I'm talking to these people or this person, right. But I do the same thing with you, and you're trying to bully me, or you're trying to embarrass me or something like that. You're trying to get over on me because I say for me, definitely when I'm at work and when I speak to certain people like in my family, and I have those type of conversations. And even here, we can have those type of conversations, understand that we're coming from two different places, and then try to find that neutral ground everyone's trying to get to the truth.
Right.
Everyone's and when you have that, it is beautiful, but you can't expect to go to anybody and get that same same energy because some people will just want to be competitive.
Right,
Or they
right.
want to be, you know.
Yeah, it's a lot of people in the world that do want that competitiveness, but let me just say that even the competitive ones have to learn it at some point. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to learn, and I get it. It's hard. It's hard to change, but I feel like the more stuff is they had to, in some sense, some of them had to learn to be in the behavior that they're in now. So why couldn't that be unlearned? I feel like it's a lot of stuff that right now, like I said, the reason why it's so glorified, and it's so pushed out. I mean, the reason why it's so pushed. No, I'm saying it all backwards. The reason why it's so glorified is why it keeps on getting pushed out the way it does. So it's pushed out, and they get pats on the back for it,
Right.
instead of getting, hey, that's not the way you go about this.
Well,
You know what I'm saying? Or here are several different ways that you could have handled this situation.
right.
Or just different alternatives for the people that were above them or older than them, or whatever that was guiding them, whoever was in place of that. It should have taken place right in the moment that they did that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Stop. Mm-mm. So I hear you, and I'm understanding that this is how you feel, but this is how you can go about still getting your point across,
Right.
but with respect.
Right.
And sometimes in the world, unfortunately, you have to most definitely sometimes give respect before you even get it, and vice versa.
I think for sure though that like there's two. No, it's probably more than two, there's another uh, way of handling that. That's something that especially I'll even admit to myself. Well, I have to admit to myself because I do regularly. Uh, something like you say, you need to have that type of that conversation with someone. Say, hey, this is the way it make you feel, or hey, this is how you're coming off, or whatever. You can either do that or separate, and that's what I do. Because it becomes a thing. Like when you talk to someone that you can trust or something like that, or you have somebody relate some type of you know relationship with or something, you can have those conversations.
Right.
But you can't expect to have the conversation with anybody. And I know, and the risk can be very high when you try to get personal. I think it's kind of a personal thing right there. We try to get personal with someone who's not going to who's going to turn the situation into something that's going to be very not beneficial, to you.
Right.
Well,
no, and I get that, but if you got to look at it as the wide goal of it, though, the goal is to network. When you have certain things going on, like say for instance, this podcast, when you have a platform as a creator,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you have to expose to some of the stuff to the world. And I feel like what happens is we have to communicate with some of these people, even though, like I said, I can communicate with you. One of the rules in my room is that you come in disrespectful, I'm gonna mute you the first time and block you the second, right? So
right.
In the real world, I'm still gonna give you your opportunity to speak. But when it comes to the point to where you just continuously coming off disrespectful, now I need you to understand that you're gonna come off disrespectful, and then what's gonna happen is like on my TikTok stuff, I'm going to mute you. So in my head, I completely turn you off.
Yeah.
And then when I mute you, so you can still hear the message because you still need the message, obviously.
Right.
And then when I let you come back that next time, and you still have that same opinion, you need to do some growing.
Right.
But we have to get to a point where we're letting people know, like, hey, these are my boundaries. This is where I'm at. You cross those boundaries, and you're likely to get a person that you don't want to see.
Right.
We have to get to the point to where we're communicating with each other in this world, period. Like, because at the end of the day, God didn't say love certain neighbors. He says love all neighbors.
But he also called us to be holy. So You know, and holy is separation from sin. So I mean, it is on both sides. I mean, because I get what you're saying. I just feel like there's a certain time and a place for it. It's not something that you can do all of the time. Or at least something I know that I can't do all the time. You know, I don't have that type of nature. But you know, I can go into that. You know what I mean? But it'll take a switch for me because certain things. I mean, if you practice any sort of, you know, if you learn any lessons, you know, from life, stuff like that, you can spot red flags. And when right, so when you talk to someone and you see that's going left, do you want to have that conversation, or is it just more beneficial to like, got it, and then it's going back to business? It is a toss up, but and again, I think everybody has to work on that balance. Understand that there is two sides. There's a time to separate, but there's also a time to probe. You know, and I certainly have a lot of work to do with that. I think all of us do. And you know, I mean, sometimes you just got to back off. You know,
right? Because some people overindulge in it, some people don't indulge.
Some people are manipulators.
Right.
I come from not a family, but I come from family members who taught me that lesson very well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's just being real. So like that. So to kind of close out, you guys, let me just say this: understand that we most definitely need to start praying and trying to build ourselves. You guys, we need to start getting into understanding when I'm reading this book, y'all. So understanding where you have to start checking in. You guys, we need to start making sure we're checking in with God first, checking in with ourselves next, and checking in with others last. Okay. And once we start doing the check-ins and we really check off that list of saying that we really surely did that, we're gonna still walk through this world not understanding why certain things are happening. So thank y'all for listening.
Thank you for that great segment. That was pretty enlightful. As we get closer to the end of the show, man, I'm looking at the time, and man, it's flying by. I said it's 2:00.
I got work in the morning. No, I don't. Never mind.
No, what?
I gotta sleep in the morning. Oh, you do it.
Oh, wait a minute. I do got work in the morning.
But as we get close to the end of the show, we want to thank Lori for jumping in.
Yes, Lori, we appreciate you most definitely. Thank you.
Most doubt.
You know that it's all love, Lori. It's all love. We gotta talk anyways. I'm glad you're still up, so we can we can talk before I crash.
Hey, also pass around our work, pass around the government cheese party as well too.
We got a new camera, y'all. So we
got a new camera. We're on camera. Unfortunately, the last camera kind of got us, but didn't get us.
Yeah.
So we had to go out and buy a brand new one. So right now it's working perfectly great.
Yeah.
So
the other camera still actually worked. What happened is that it couldn't take the power of YouTube. So like it wasn't that, it was what the camera could handle. It was like Facebook doesn't have as much as YouTube does when it comes to that. So like it's just filtering it through. It wasn't ready for this. It wasn't ready for it.
But more great things is going to be happening on this channel as the months progress. We do have a new intro. Unfortunately, I was trying to look it up after I saved it, but I can't find it. But don't worry, I'll find it. You'll see the new graphic intro on that one. Hopefully we can get that. Hopefully we can also get some music on top of that, so it can be more of an enjoyable watch and listen as that. We are also on, I want to pronounce it, it's Asha. We are on Asha. Asha distributes just like Spotify for podcasts. We had to leave Spotify by podcast because a lot of weird stuff has been going on since the transition from Anchor to the Spotify. So we had to make some different choices. You had to make a choice. So Oscar was the next best one that will help push our podcast a little bit more. So even though yes, it costs money to have Oscar, but it still is worth it, and the payout is going to be a lot more better on that
A
platform.
lot more beneficial to us.
Yeah.
Are you bragging about your money again?
No, I'm not. I'm
Right.
just
Money.
giving people updates and behind the scenes because they need to know behind the
About
scenes
your
of what's
money.
going on.
About your zeros?
No, not about the zeros.
About
No,
your zeros.
no. I wish I had a whole bunch of zeros.
I actually do too. I got a lot of zeros. I just don't have anything like.
Yeah, mine's is a big, mine's is a big old zero. Big old fat zero.
You only got one, but it's big. It's a big zero.
Yeah.
It's a really big zero, actually.
It's a big
It's
zero.
impressive.
Yeah. It's
It's impressive
impressive.
how big my zero is.
But before we get off air, there's one bit of story that I forgot to get into, and it was part of our childhood livelihood.
Mhm.
It's the voice of not Boomhauer,
Oh, Dale.
Dale.
Yeah, Tom. I know. I just had him
I
up.
have one more too once you finish with your
Okay.
right, because I want you to make sure you honor him the right way.
But
Johnny Hardwick.
yes, and man, that
That's
really hit home when I saw it, and I was like, oh man, dude, that when you think of King of the Hill, man, think of you.
Think of the
Granted,
four.
you think of Boomhauer, you think of Dale, and obviously Hank and all the
Dale.
rest of it. But Dale, but the crazy thing is Dale was, yes, he was off the chain and in the conspiracy.
He was the funniest one out of the four. Like Boomhauer was the funniest talking, but Dale was hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
When I heard about it, everything, me and my buddy was talking about it, and the first thing I said was like, well, I think it might have been. I might have got this wrong, but I think it was his first line in at King of the Hill. And I think it was his first line. I might be wrong, but it was the first time I heard him. And they're standing around the truck. He said, trying to figure out what's going wrong with a Hank's truck, and he goes, "You know what 4 stands for, don't you? Fix it again, Tony." that's Fiat, Dill. And that was the end of the joke.
So,
I mean, it's very simple, but fuck, man.
but man, it's so rest in peace, dude.
Yeah.
To him.
You know that's Dale. The girl that did Bobby Hill and Luann died years back.
Yeah.
So that's Bobby, Luann, and Dale, and Tom Petty. Man.
Oh no.
We're not getting another season of King of the Hill. It's just
That's
even if we did get one, I don't think I want to.
Yeah.
I'm bitter now.
CJ, what else
That's
did you
crazy. So also we weren't on when this happened, but Pee Wee Herman passed away.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
It was a few days ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was last week sometime. I would see
Yeah.
he passed because I seen like something post on there, and I was just like, oh man, rip in peace, Pee Wee Herman. I mean,
Yeah.
like I felt a rest in peace, Pee Wee Herman, because let me say this, I was like that kid that watched the Pee Wee Herman house. Like, I mean, I was into it too. Like, I mean, everything that he did, the little talking couch piece and microwave, everything in his house talk to you.
Yeah.
But look, let me just say this, like that was like, I mean, it's even though later on in life, you found out that, he might not have lived a very honest life, but it's just like as adults, you don't see, I mean, as kids, you don't see stuff like that.
Right.
Like you see the positivity that he was actually he was teaching manners.
Yeah.
In the Pee Wee Playhouse, you know what I'm saying? Like he was teaching manners, he was teaching how to respect and be generous and be how he was doing so much. And then the movies and stuff that he came out with, they all had some kind of positive outlook on it. So I feel like again, that was a big part of my childhood. So Pee Wee Herman, rest in peace.
Yeah, for sure. And
I don't have any bad people to bring up.
okay.
Yeah, I just like I said when he said it, I just instantly my brain went to the Pee Wee Herman. I know we ain't talked about it, so yeah.
I haven't done this in a long time.
What's the reason for that?
What's the reason?
Because of the
Because Because it is the Delay Show.
Okay, all right. So
All right.
so
It's
for
time to
sure,
go.
I was about to say that. For sure, you need to go to bed. hey, all of you, shut it. But
No.
So what's the deal? You talk about dead people and then you just play with the effects. Is that what we do?
That's what we do. That's what we pretty much do.
I mean, you
Rest
must
in
have like
peace.
it goes.
Yeah.
You know, like he's trying to you check the frequency so you can talk to him.
No, that ain't it at all.
I'm gonna make sure you. God damn it! Don't put me in this shit. Well, are we still on YouTube?
Yeah, we're on YouTube, sir.
I don't know what type. You know what's crazy about this is that when I go to church tomorrow, and I do go to church, believe it or not, but when I go to church tomorrow, I'm the sax guy is gonna be using reverb and delay and all that stuff. And I'm gonna bust out as soon as he asks for some.
All right, end the show. Bye, y'all.
Delay Show.
Delay, goodbye.
Yeah, that's a horrible.